This is indeed the Pass and Report podcast, usually coming to you live Thursday nights, 9 Eastern. This week, due to some continued scheduling issues entirely on my end, we're getting this out to you Tuesday night around 8:30. But we're making sure it gets out one way or the other. And we haven't had a whole lot to talk about the last couple of weeks, which was super fortunate on my end. The reason we haven't really had a show the last 2 weeks was my wedding was this past weekend, and every spare moment. Thank you, appreciate it. It was the party of all parties, but every spare moment was spent making sure that was perfect. And unfortunately, the podcast did fall to the side there for a couple of weeks, but in that time, the Phillies have found new life, and I've seen that meme circulating again, where the Phillies are in the side view mirror, and objects may be closer than they appear. We are now only 3 games back of Atlanta after being pretty much dead and buried.
They're losing right now too. We're winning, so
perfect. So we can make up some more ground. I mean, you look back at this team in late May, mid to late May, early June, and you fired your manager, you're not hitting, things seemed grim, and all of a sudden we are one of the hottest teams in baseball. I think we're second in the power rankings right now behind the Dodgers. The lineup's found its way. You might have a solution in the outfield. We'll talk about that. And just like that, the Phils are right back into this thing, and we are 3 games back of the division lead before the All-Star break. So it turns out it partially was Rob. I think the switch to making Brandon Marsh an everyday player has been a massive success, to say the least. I mean, not only is he on his way to becoming an all-star, I mean, he is almost certainly an all-star starter at this rate. So just from watching this team, even to say the month of June, they really shifted into another gear. What sticks out to you as the switch that flipped to turn this Phillies team into the contender that they are?
I mean, it had to have been firing Rob. I mean, there was a lot of mistakes made by Rob, especially in the potential World Series run, trusting Craig Kimbrell. I know we're talking about this year, so it's definitely Marsh being an everyday player, like you mentioned. Who knew turning the guy that has the second highest batting average on balls in play to an everyday player was a good idea? I mean, incredible, right? I mean, Stotts turned it on as well. I think Mattingly, he has his faults, but he's been better than Rob. I mean, we watched him trot out Aaron Nola for an inning too long last night, and he let him in there and he just let him go for it. And that's how he lost that game to the Pirates. But he's just letting his pitchers go, and he's letting his hitters go. Like Stotts improved, and I think it's just because what he said. He said, "Hey, you know why Rob got fired? It's on you guys." And I think that flipped the switch with the guys.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And look, I was a Rob defender, but I think, and I'm definitely certainly not ever gonna enjoy admitting that Nick Castellanos was ever right, because I mean the way his career has played out post Philadelphia, I think speaks for itself. However, there does seem to be something, and I like Mattingly's manager style too, because you can kind of tell that there's that former player still in there. I mean, Mattingly was a tremendous first baseman, especially with the Yankees, and you can see that he understands the game a little bit differently than Topper did. I mean, Top spent a lifetime in baseball. He knows the game inside out and backwards, but from the bench perspective, Mattingly, you can tell he has a better feel, I think, for the guys, where Rob had that blind faith that the players enjoy, but the fans would get frustrated with. Mattingly, it seems as though he can get in their heads a little bit more and know what each guy needs in order to be successful. Now, right, I mean, has the bullpen been a little bit of an issue? Absolutely. It's a little bit tough to put it on Mattingly because we find ourselves again kind of like that Mets series where Rob caught a lot of flack for his pitching usage, but then you really look around and go, well, who would you like for him to put in? Because right now you have Duran and not Alvarado. You have Duran and Kerkering who are pitching pretty well, but Alvarado's been shaky. Keller's been in and out of the lineup. When he's been in, he's been bad. Seth Johnson's been bad. I'm trying to think who else I'm missing. Bolin's been pretty good, but you're so thin in that bullpen that has there been some guys where Manley's put him in and we've gone, oh God, not this guy. But who the hell else would you like him to use? I mean, the whole pen is in a slump at the same time again.
Yeah, it happens quite a lot in this city, and maybe it is because the weather's getting warmer and the balls are flying, but it's a problem that needs to be solved. And I don't, you know, what's going to happen again.
Yeah, we're going to overpay and
They're
prospect.
overpay for a rental arm.
Yeah,
rinse, repeat.
yeah.
I mean, that's where we're heading.
The nice thing is, and we're going to get back to the Phillies pitching in a second because not everything is all sunshine and rainbows. But I do want to give credit where credit is due. And we're very hard on Dave Dombrowski around here because so many of his moves fail spectacularly. But I do think that we may have possibly avoided having to overspend on the outfield at the deadline, at least this year. I wouldn't mind if we did, don't get me wrong. But with pitching becoming the issue that it's becoming, the outfield might have gotten shifted to your third priority. Thanks to Derek, is it Hill or Hall? I always want to say Derek Hall because of Phillies legend, Long Ball Hall, but I think it's Hill, right? Yeah. He has been a big help in that outfield. Obviously, there's a tremendous catch against the Mets. There's his walk-off homer. But he's just brought a steadying force to that fourth outfielder position that, Dave has swung and missed on so many times. Now, he could still flame out spectacularly. It's a small sample size. But right now, when you look out at the outfield for the Phils, you feel at least somewhat comfortable with him, Crawford, and the way March is playing at an all-star level. We might have been able to sidestep overpaying for an outfield bat. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You look at free agency last year. Teoscar Hernandez has been hurt. Kyle Tucker's been really bad. That's gone under the radar. How he's not so great he's been. So I got to respect Dave because Bo Bichette's had the same struggles too. So maybe the right choice was made. But as for the outfield, I think we could avoid going there again because it's going to be the bullpen arm. The bullpen desperately needs help. The starters are carrying a lot of the load, and
cracks are starting to show a little bit there.
Nola has to go a third time through the lineup. It's not good. He left a couple of meatballs last night.
Yeah, Knowles is a problem, and it's worth kind of spending a few minutes on here because I think the Phillies, in my opinion, correctly have kind of taken the view of wait and hope with Nola because there really isn't. The other option is nuclear, really, as far as team building goes. You have a guy who you're paying ace money to for the next 4 seasons who, at least at the moment, can't pitch. What you're getting from Aaron Nola, you could feasibly get from almost any free agent arm or almost any AAA arm that you have.
Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, his numbers, if you look at numbers, Nola the last 2 years has a worse ERA than Taijuan Walker's end to his Phillies tenure. You look at, Alan Rangel, they just brought up, first game in the bigs. He gave you 5 innings, 1 earned, a lot of pitches, not overly economical, but still 5 innings, 1 earned. We'd take that out of Nola at this point. Knowles anymore, you're getting 4 and some change and 3 to 4 runs. It's almost a schedule loss.
It feels like a schedule loss. We had the rotation up coming into the season, and it has delivered for the most part. Luzardo's been extremely unlucky. Giving up 5 with 13 Ks and no extra base hits. Like, dude's the unluckiest pitcher in the sport. Wheeler's been as advertised since coming back from his injury. Sanchez is an ace. And it's just the end of the rotation just wasn't filled out. It just didn't fill out properly. So, it'll look better in the playoffs when we only have to play Nola 1 time sparingly, maybe twice. But
yeah, you'll be able to avoid it in the divisional for sure. Let's say we go to the wild, but the problem with that is, and that's why it's worth, I think, this particular iteration of the Phillies to really make a hard run at the division and treat it like you almost have to win it. The DS is fine because you can go 3 deep really and just hope, 3 deep and maybe a bullpen game and get through it. But if we have to play that wild card round, then there's a real chance that you burn definitely Wheeler Sanchez, potentially Wheeler Sanchez Luzardo, and then you have to go into the DS with probably Nola starting that first game, depending on the timing. Because I don't think teams, from what I remember from our Cardinal series, you don't get a big break between the wild card and the DS. I think it might be a day if you're lucky.
It's not long at all because people are complaining about it that, the break's too short and it favors the teams that go through the wild card round.
Yeah.
So, we got to win the division, but Braves are slacking here. So,
yeah, and I think they left the door open for us. But I think you need to win the division this year because you don't have the pitching staff you've had in the past. I mean, you're not fortunate enough to go 4 deep with studs. I mean, what this team's missing Ranger Suarez so terribly, and the money wasn't there for him, but that is exactly who this team is missing is Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, it's tough that we had to let him go. He's been pretty good in Boston, a couple of rough starts, but he's been as advertised, and he's going to be nails if he ever makes it to the playoffs. I don't think they're doing too well in Boston, but
no, that's why there's talk of whether they even need Ranger. Will they shop him? I mean, the Phillies aren't going to go get him. I want to put that.
It would be really fun.
It'd be a lot of fun. I don't even know if we can or how that works. I don't. But yeah, the other thing that's worth bringing up with the Phils, obviously, is the lineup has seemingly figured it out. I mean, you're seeing they're putting up a lot of crooked numbers now. You have Kyle on pace for a 60 piece. You have Bryce on pace for 40. Brandon Marsh is, it looks like a beach ball to him right now. He is absolutely cooking. I think he right now would be on pace for 28 homers, which whether he hits it or not, I could care less. I look to Marsh to hit for average, and he's hitting for a tremendous average this season. So those guys have all done their job and more. We talked about, Derek Hill being a nice surprise. Justin Crawford has shown flashes at times. The one position that has Aaron Nola vibes to it, where it's like, oh God, this contract is in year one and we are mega fucked. And I love the guy, and it sucks to see him play like this, but JT just has nothing left in the tank.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Trey. I really thought you were going to say Trey there for a second. Because he's in that range too. He's getting there.
The trade deal sucks, but we're a few years into it, and we've had a few good years in this deal. It's going to be brutal. I mean, we just gave JT a very ill-advised contract, and in the first year of that deal, he has been ass cheeks.
Well, is it going to matter anyway with the lockout? Like, I don't know if you saw the MLB proposal. They're locked. It's going to be a lot. It's guaranteed. If they don't budge on the proposal of, what was it, the free agents from your own team could sign for a max of 5, and other teams you could sign for a max of 4. That's never gonna that's never gonna fly. So, maybe we'll luck out on that contract. There's not much else we could do about it. I mean, has he been good behind the plate?
Of course, he's JT.
Yeah, sure. Has he been a nothing at the dish? Absolutely. So
yeah, he's a 0 at the plate. Trey's a 0 at the plate. I liked Mattingly kicking off the lineup with Marsh. I thought that was great. I thought it worked great. That team exploded that night. And then he went immediately back to Trey. And look, I'm sure Mattingly has a lot of say over the lineup. This reeks of, we're paying this guy X amount of dollars, figure it the fuck out. I can't imagine the baseball mind of Don Mattingly looks out at that team and goes, you know what, the best table setter available right now is Trey Turner. So I do, you've seen Moneyball. I tend to believe that there's some input from out of the dugout as to why Trey needs to lead off, but he has just been a painful watch.
Yeah, he's been really painful. I mean, you could say it's because they don't want to go lefty, 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 but immediately after that, they go 3 lefties in a row with Schwarber, Harper, and Marsh. So it's not that. It's just they don't have a righty bat that threatens opposing pitchers. That's the problem the Phillies have, and the bullpen's a bigger problem. But we've been searching for that right hand at bat so long now. I mean, Bohm it's not been great. but like I said, we give him a little bit of a pass because he's going through
Yeah.
stuff off the field.
And he's been fine. He's also, I mean, we talk about it all the time. I mean, his fielding every year takes giant leaps. So he's become a very strong fielding third baseman. The bat's going to be the same every single year. I mean, we all collectively just need to stop expecting anything more than 260, couple bombs, and he's a pretty good RBIs guy. Like, it's crazy the team's watching him play. Alec Boehm's third on this team in RBIs.
Mm-hmm. It always feels this way. I remember, didn't he have like 100 a few years back? Or he was close up?
Yeah, well, that year he was an all-star in the first half. I think he might have got there.
I believe so, because I remember watching NBCS Philly, which we could talk about that too, because I don't know if they're going to be a thing much longer after that article.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm trying to look.
They're going to split up into two networks.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Like Sky and then something else or whatever.
He had 97 2 years in a row and 23 and 24.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's frustrating to watch, so I get the temptation to be able to get frustrated with him. But, I mean, would you take emotion out of it and just look at Alec Boehm by the numbers the last, say, 3 to 4 years? I mean, he's top half of the league third baseman at the plate. Now, the position's not great across the MLB right now, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's Junior Caminero and everyone else at this point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Okamoto as well, which that's a different thing because, you know, he could have been the replacement.
Yeah.
But it's tough when you look at it. He's the least of our problems at this point. That's what it feels like. Like, he'll give you your 1 for 4 night, maybe a ribby, and we'll take it at this rate. So,
yeah. So that's the state of the Phils at the moment. But the NBA free agency period has kicked off, and there's two things before we get into the big deals or whatever. As guys who love the offseason, not as much as the regular season, but you and I love a good offseason because this podcast turns into just talking moves for 30 minutes. I desperately miss the days of legal tampering. You remember when, like, the free agency would not even open up yet, and you had guys agreeing in principle to deals that would take months to negotiate. Like, by this time, we would know where LeBron was playing. Kawhi would already be traded. Like, all of these guys already have homes. So, I mean, whoever took away legal trading, the legal tampering period, aka Adam Silver, big miss. It was great content.
I mean, 1201, you see Timothy Mozgov get paid $90 million by the Lakers.
Yes.
It's one of one. It's a one of one experience.
Yes. You wake up in the morning and go, holy shit, he got what?
Exactly. And like football still has that with, you know, there it's not as, you know, 1201 like the NBA was, but you still get everyone placed throughout the first day. Like there's constant notifications all day of, hey, this player goes here, this player goes here. In the NBA, we've only had
Mark Cuban locked outside of DeAndre Jordan's house again. We'll never see it again.
Man, good memories. We're never going to have that kind of stuff again, like you said. But
so now we have tweets from insiders saying that they've heard smoke behind potential rumors that this guy could go here. And one of those you and I talked about earlier today. One of those is Kawhi going back north to Toronto. That is the only place he said he would sign an extension. The Clippers don't seem to be super interested in being competitive next year, which if you're a Sixer fan, we own those picks coming up. So if they're going to go into a tank, things are looking up for that 20, I believe it's the 28 first round pick that we are owed from the Clippers.
I believe it's a 29 swap as well.
Yes. So that's two real good drafts for the Sixers here. It's impossible to know how that class is going to be because of the state of college basketball, but you're still going to have two really good drafts where you should be a playoff team and you can add frontline talent to it. So things are looking up that way. And we'll get to the Sixers here in a second because this is a Philadelphia focused podcast, but I feel like the Raptors are Philadelphia focused in a sense. They drove a knife through our heart, and the guy who did it is heading back up north. Are you a little bit surprised that Toronto was the place he kind of forced his way back to? Because if you remember, when he went there the first time, he said, "I'm not signing an extension here. You have me this year." Now they went out and won a title, but that didn't change his mind. He wanted no parts of Toronto, and now all of a sudden he's fond of it again.
Yeah, I guess it's familiarity with the front office, wanting to compete. I mean, they didn't really give up much. If you really look at it, picks or whatever. I mean, sure, they're gonna amount to something down the road, but Toronto less so with Colin Murray Boyles and Scotty Barnes, and they have RJ Barrett there as well, who's a contributing piece. But they have the future there in the front court that they're fine to do this deal and to do those swaps. But it's insane that he went to go back to Toronto. I mean, sure, the East is not loaded. I mean, you have Boston, who has to make a Jaylen Brown move, which, like, he went back to free agency. Jaylen Brown already been settled.
Yeah.
You have the Pistons maybe gearing up to make a big move. Who knows what's going to happen with Jalen Duren? The Heat, I don't think the Heat are quite there with those two guys. So, like, the East is wide open, so I kind of get why I want to go back.
But I don't know if Toronto plus Kawhi is a force in the East. I think they make the East interesting. I think they can, be in the mix in the East, but it doesn't seem like, unless I'm missing something from watching that team last year, it doesn't seem like the slam dunk that would drive a guy like Kawhi to force his way there. There's work to be done there.
Feels more personal.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of teams give him the extension. Who knows? Who knows how that would have went? Maybe Toronto was the only team that would give him an unquestioned extension.
Yeah, and that could be it.
But besides that,
I don't know. It's curious, but
maybe he liked his year. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he went back to LA and decided he liked the North. He was a god up there, so it's got to be kind of nice.
He is the, probably the most heralded player in the franchise history. I need to be careful how I word that because they had some guys up there.
Yeah, I think he's in that. There's 4 names I would probably say. I mean, you got Kawhi, you got Vince Carter naturally, and then you got Kyle Lowry for sure.
DeRozan's a legend up there.
DeRozan's the questionable 4th, yeah, because Kawhi won something, Lowry won something. Vince Carter is a cultural icon. Vinsanity, the dunk, all that stuff.
DeRozan technically won them something.
If you look at
he got traded for Kawhi, so he technically won them something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On a technicality.
Yes, yeah, he allowed them to get Kawhi. But speaking of that Raptor team that did win it all, they had to go through Sixers to do it, and now that same man is back in the conference. So the question then becomes, how will the Sixers build out the rest of this roster to compete for a title this year? Because that still remains the goal every year as long as Joel Embiid is on this roster. It's a title year every year. I like what they did in the draft. I like LeBaron. I think he adds to that speedy guard archetype that we tend to go to. I think a lot of people are kind of complaining about, well, how are you going to play 3 guards? The team's too small. If you've watched the Sixers last year, this team absolutely needed another ball handler. Now, do you use a first-round pick on a guy who might not start? I get that. Where we're picking, I think you do. I think in all reality, if you're picking 22, that guy's going to be a role player. Now, we got a lot of value at 22. He dropped farther than I think a lot of people expected. But I think that's the right move to make, 100%. Because we were just too thin there last year. We had no ball handles off the bench. I never want to see a 40-year-old point guard getting minutes for my team ever again.
No, I don't want to see a 40-year-old Kyle Lowry get minutes for my team. I also don't want to see 40 minutes a game for Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, they're also going to run him into the ground. And VJ Edgecombe was 4th in the league in minutes. So we had both guards in the top 5 in the league in minutes.
You can't do that. I mean, I hope the new, front office understands that. But man, oh man, I think Quentin Grimes is going to leave, so they're going to have to get a backup too.
Did you see somebody out there is offering him $10 million annually?
Yeah, I think it's the Lakers. It's the Lakers.
I'm fine. Head on out west, dude.
I'm good with that too. I'm just saying we need a backup too. I'm okay with not bringing him back.
Well, the question then becomes how much is um, Kelly Oubre Jr. going to command? Because if it's 5 to 7, I'm almost okay with that. Um, he knows the system. He knows the city. He's a good defender. Is he boneheaded with the ball sometimes? For sure. He's your backup too, but he's scrappy as hell. He rebounds when he's hot. He can shoot it enough. I think he gets way too much hate around here. If you look at his entire Sixer tenure, he has done everything his team's asked him to do, whether it's his role or not. So if we can get him for that 5 to 7 number, I'm happy to bring him back to fill that spot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's tough because the Pacers seem interested in him as well. I've been reading reports of that. So
the Pacers could make it interesting. They want him.
Yeah, they want him, and they had to give up their top 5 pick for Zubac, so they didn't get any reinforcements in the draft. So could make things interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this Sixers offseason really shapes out.
Yeah, I like so far that we've brought Barlow back. I thought he was a great piece last year. If you're a longtime Sixer fan, he reminds me a little bit of that Thad Young role, where on nights where you're shorthanded, he can score the basketball. On nights when you're at full strength, he'll play that kind of Swiss Army knife where he'll get those tough rebounds. He'll give you 6 to 8 points. He's good on the offensive glass, which we need. So I love that they brought him back.
Yeah.
Trendon Watford was a good idea. It just didn't quite work out last year. So letting him walk doesn't bother me any. But yeah, I mean, this team has a little bit of flexibility too, if you remember. Now, depending on what we do with Oubre, we can have up to that full mid-level extension available, which gives you that $15 million to go spend on a starter caliber player, which we haven't had in a few years. Access to the MLE. I'll have to do more research to see who's out there this year.
I've heard John Collins. I mean, I'd be okay with that. I'm not overly thrilled, but it's like I said, it's the MLE, so like
he's the stretch 4 we've really never had. So I'm with you. I'm not stoked about it. You can move PG to the 3 and then run Maxey and Edgecombe together. That could be kind of fun. I don't think it makes you a contender right away, but I think it's entertaining.
No, I don't think it makes a contender either, but like you said, it is entertaining, and the East is weak. Like I said, we got to see what Boston does. They're the big domino that needs to fall, because I know we didn't really talk about it, but Jaylen Brown on his Twitch stream saying that this was the best season of his life when Jason Tatum was out for like 80% of it.
Yeah,
like there's definitely some tension there, and we're gonna see if he gets shipped out west. Portland was in that kind of market, but now they got John Morant, so it'll be interesting to see where Jaylen Brown goes, and I think that'll really determine the hierarchy of the East, especially them and the Heat filling out the roster, and if the Pistons could get someone else. But I think the Sixers are right in the tier below them.
Yes, they're in that second tier. I think next week we'll know a lot more. Next week I will be on my honeymoon. So the following
week, you enjoy that. If you need me to do a solo one, if something big happens, I'll do it. But.
Yes, if you need to fire up the old StreamYard machine and go live, you and I can work out how that happens. But the week after that, we'll spend an awful lot of time on NBA free agency because the picture will have rounded out a lot more by then. But until then, we are off next week. I will be overseas, but the week following, we're back. I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. This is the Patterson Report. Thank you for watching along. Peace.